So furious world leaders are laughing at Donald Trump behind his back. They are mocking him because Donald Trump has done 0 deals. And Donald Trump is just running around the United States saying, I did this great deal with Japan, everyone. And back in Japan, they're saying, there isn't a binding deal. There is no deal at all. Donald Trump's like, I did a great deal with Vietnam, everyone. And in Vietnam, they're like, there really isn't a deal at all. Same thing in the United Kingdom. Donald Trump's like, look what I did. And if anything, Keir Starmer and the parliament in UK is like, we just got preferential treatment for our auto manufacturers over American manufacturers. By the way, same thing with Japan. Their auto manufacturers are getting treated better than United States auto manufacturers, and there is no deal. Then Donald Trump announced, hey, everybody, Australia, they're opening up their markets to American beef. Great. As Olga Nestorova puts it, what's next? Are we going to sell instant coffee to Brazil and cup of noodles to Italy? I mean, do you realize that Australian beef is like a versus American beef? Australians aren't going to buy any American beef at all. You know, just go through this one by one right over here. The United States has not released any actual paperwork of deals. So remember what we reported 2 days ago, and now other media is picking it up, because I was reading Japanese media and I was looking at it and I saw they said no binding deal. I saw Okizawa, the Japanese trade minister, say there was no deal. This is from the Financial Times earlier today. Japanese officials said there was no written agreement with Washington and no legally binding one would be drawn up. And as Justin Wolfers, economist from University of Michigan, puts it, and surprise, surprise, they deny giving Donald Trump $550 billion to arbitrarily spend however he wants. The headline from the Financial Times article. Cracks widen in Japan and US's interpretation of tariff trade deal. So Donald Trump's like, all right, here's the deal, everybody. So we're going to drop the tariffs on Japan from 28% to 15%. First of all, Donald, it was 25%. That's a tax on ourselves. So you're going to drop it from 25%, it wasn't 28%, to a 15% tax on ourselves. And then Donald Trump's like, here's what's going to be great about it. Japan has agreed they will be investing $550 billion into America right now. It's like a signing bonus, Donald Trump says. And so America's then going to make 90% profit from the $550 billion that Japan's going to invest, and Japan keeps 10%. And I'm thinking to myself, why the hell would Japan do that? They already have over $1 trillion of American treasury notes. So why would they basically do 20% of their GDP to America as a signing bonus? Who's going to do that? And sure enough, Donald Trump just made that up. That's not something that's actually happening. I like this post right here. Trump selling American beef in Australia will go about as well as his sales of Trump steaks. The world's greatest steaks. Remember those? Neither does anybody else. And so here you have the U.S. Secretary of Agriculture, Secretary Brooke Rollins. She goes, we're smiling with you, Donald. We're smiling with you. Thrilled to see Australia has opened its markets to U.S. beef. So grateful for Trump's leadership, resulting in the unprecedented breaking down of trade barriers and ensuring our ranchers will have the opportunity to feed the world. Let's go. As Greg Jericho says, this was a great decision by Australia. Makes Trump think he got a win because he's stupid. And absolutely no one in Australia has any desire to buy U.S. beef as it is worse quality and more expensive. We export in Australia about $7.5 billion worth of beef, including frozen, and import about 26 million, mostly Wagyu. America beef in Australia is like sending instant coffee to Italy or Brazil. And speaking about that, this is what the Financial Times is reporting as well on their opinion page. Are you sagging in the polls? Are you worried about your election chances? Well, it goes, Canada's Mark Carney, Australia's Anthony Albanese, and now Brazil's President Lula da Silva have a fix for you. Get Donald Trump to launch a trade war on your country, and your poll numbers will instantly skyrocket. On a more serious note, talking about world leaders, there were about 25 or 30 world leaders who wrote a powerful letter demanding that humanitarian aid be sent to Palestine, which America refused to sign off on as well. Also this past week, French President Emmanuel Macron said that France is officially recognizing the Palestinian state. He goes, consistent with its historic commitment to a just and lasting peace in the Middle East, I have decided that France will recognize the state of Palestine. I will make this solemn announcement before the United Nations General Assembly this upcoming September. My dogs, Taquito and Chiquito, are the happiest dogs ever. You know why? Because I give them Sundays for Dogs, which is, let's face it, the best dog food ever. What I love about Sundays for Dogs is that, like, unlike other fresh dog food, Sundays does not require refrigeration or preparation because of their air drying process. You just pour it and serve it, and you can cancel or pause your subscription with Sundays for Dogs at any time with their 14-day money-back guarantee. It's fresh dog food. It's made from a short list of human-grade ingredients, which I love and I know my doggies love. It was co-founded by Dr. Tori Waxman, a practicing veterinarian who tests and formulates every version of each recipe. And Sundays contains 100% all-natural meat and superfoods and 0% synthetic nutrients or artificial ingredients. So here's the deal we negotiated for your puppies, because I want them to be as happy as mine. Get 40% off your first order of Sundays. Go to sundaysfordogs.com/Meidas or use code Meidas at checkout. Go to sundaysfordogs.com/Meidas or use code Meidas at checkout. My doggies, Taquito and Chiquito, tell me that your doggies will love Sundays also. Now I'm going to show you what Donald Trump says in a minute about French President Emmanuel Macron. But first, let me explain to you what Donald Trump is doing with dictators across the world. So you know how Donald Trump is like torturing Abrego Garcia, the Maryland man who Donald Trump unlawfully sent to El Salvador in the concentration camp CICOT, and Donald Trump sent many other people as well. Well, Donald Trump has now cut a deal with Bukele to basically shut down something that was referred to as the Joint Task Force Vulcan, which captured some of the worst MS-13 gang members who were being prosecuted in the United States. And the Operation Vulcan actually was announced during Donald Trump's first term to go after the bad guys. I think it was a good program, and it continued on over the past years. They captured a number of top MS-13 gang leaders. Well, now what Donald Trump is doing is he cut a deal with Bukele to basically release the gang members, to dismiss their charges, the most violent terrorists, people who were killing Americans. So rather than prosecute him, Trump's sending those MS-13 members back to El Salvador to cover up a deal that Bukele seems to have with MS-13 members in his corrupt regime in El Salvador. A judge chastised the Trump regime for trying to secretly return an MS-13 leader to El Salvador rather than prosecute him, evidently to help El Salvador President Bukele cover up a corrupt pact with some high-ranking leaders in MS-13. So Trump is actually sending the most dangerous terrorists. He's dismissing the cases, sending them back. By the way, don't even get me started with Donald Trump offering and giving immunity, use immunity to Ghislaine Maxwell. I've done many videos about that. But Donald Trump basically crippling the Vulcan Joint Task Force. All right, let me go through some data points here as well. So here Donald Trump attacks French President Emmanuel Macron and says, in response to Macron recognizing the Palestinian state, Donald Trump says no one cares about him. No one even, he doesn't matter at all. Well, that's what you say about our ally. Here, play this clip.
Counterproductive to France, for France to say that they would recognize the Palestinian state. Macron said that yesterday.
Look, he's a different kind of a guy. He's okay. He's a team player, pretty much. But here's the good news: what he says doesn't matter. You know, it's not going to change it.
So how good that?
Well, he made a statement, France, Macron. His statement doesn't carry any weight. He's a very good guy. I like him, but that statement doesn't carry weight.
Then Donald Trump is asked about the UK trade deal, and he's asked when he lands in Scotland, so is there anything missing in the deal? And Donald Trump's like, nothing. It's not even really a deal. It's a celebration. Here, play this clip.
Explain what is missing in the UK deal that you have to work out?
Nothing. We I think it's more of a celebration than a workout. It's a great deal for both. And we're going to have a meeting on other things other than the deal. The deal is concluded.
And just a reminder, here was when Donald Trump pretended that he had a deal and it was all blank pieces of paper and one was signed with his name and he was standing next to UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, and Donald Trump drops it on the floor and claims he has a trade deal with the European Union with the Prime Minister of the UK standing by his side. He thinks that UK was in the European Union. Here, play this clip.
We just signed a document. This is, sorry about that. This is it.
A very important document.
Little windy out here. Give me that. We just signed it and it's done. And so we have our trade agreement with the European Union. And it's a fair deal for both.
And then Donald Trump attacks Europe and he says, Europe, your big problem is your windmills. You need to stop your windmills. Here, play this clip.
Well, I say two things to Europe. Stop the windmills. You're ruining your countries. I really mean it. It's so sad. You fly over and you see these windmills all over the place, ruining your beautiful fields and valleys and killing your birds. And if they're stuck in the ocean, ruining your oceans. Stop the windmills. And there's a couple of things I could say, but on immigration, you better get your act together. Or you're not going to have Europe anymore. You got to get your act together. And we, as you know, last month we had nobody entering our country. Nobody. Shut it down. And we took out a lot of bad people that got there with Biden. Biden was a total stiff. And what he allowed to happen, but you're allowing it to happen to your countries. And you got to stop this horrible invasion that's happening to Europe, many countries in Europe. Some people, some leaders have not let it happen. And they're not getting the proper credit they should. I could name them to you right now, but I'm not going to embarrass the other ones. But stop. This immigration is killing Europe. And the other thing, stop the windmills, killing the beauty of your countries. Thank you very much, everybody.
And here's where Donald Trump talks about how he had this great deal with Japan and how America gets 90% and everything's going to be sent up front. And it's a signing bonus. Like, I don't even know what Donald Trump's talking about here. Here, play this clip.
Well, it depends. What Japan did is they brought down their tariffs. They gave us $550 billion because they didn't want to pay 20. They were 28%. And they gave us $550 billion up front. 100%, 500. We get 90, they get 10. 90%, they get 10. And there's no payment. It's not a loan or anything. It's a signing bonus, I call it. But they gave us $550 billion and took down the tariffs a little bit. And then they agreed to open their economy to everybody. This was not easy.
And then Donald Trump claims that he's not even doing any negotiations with Canada. And he says, I think I'm just going to send them a letter. Here, play this clip right here.
We will have most of our deals finished, if not all. We haven't really had a lot of luck with Canada. I think Canada could be one where they'll just pay tariffs, not really a negotiation. We're working very diligently with Europe, the EU, which covers a lot of territory, a lot of countries. And that's the big one right now. We have the confines of a deal with China. But we haven't really, we don't have a deal with Canada. We haven't been focused on it.
And again, now that you know that there is no binding trade deal with Japan, let me just also show you what Howard Nutlick had to say, Donald Trump, Secretary of Commerce. Let's play it. There you have it, folks. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million subscribers.
The truth is more important than ever. Check out our new Truth Over Lies collection at store.MeidasTouch.com. All 100% USA union made.